this Eastern Carolina lady the other day. She's got that Eastern Carolina twang.
Okay, y'all ready? I'm going to declare this meeting open. And say that if there is anybody here that would like to speak to the proposed changes to farm wineries, now is the time. I'm sorry. Well, you know, we were on the path to add dandelion, and then the list became so long, we just threw our hands up and said,
added honey and
yeah,
goldenrods, whatever.
all that stuff.
Herman doesn't know about that, the inside story about dandelion.
It sounds like it'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to fill you in on that.
You know, when we were talking about that, I kept having this song going through the back of my mind about dandelion wine. And then I realized about 2 o'clock this morning that the song is strawberry wine.
Yeah. That rhymes, it worked.
Hey, whatever. Dandelion and strawberry.
Came out about 3 days, 3 or 4 days, 2
No,
days.
I didn't know.
2 days.
We haven't done anything about wineries being able to sell beer in advance. So this is,
I wasn't leaving out public, but we were qualified as true public.
I was giving you a hard time. You said the public is here. I'm here. And I said, what?
No, I wasn't sliding.
Yeah. Oh, I know, Ryan. I know what you really meant. Cut me deep. I'm gonna go cry in a corner now.
I dearly hope so.
if no application, then it's wine.
I am ready to get through it all. I'm glad you mentioned that. I have no idea why that made this list. Yeah. David sent us over for me to look at it, and I did. And we just kind of waiting for him to do it.
Oh, yes, please. I forgot. Thank you.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. This is the public comment meeting for the proposed changes on the land development ordinance. And anybody that would like to comment on that may do so at this time.
Charlie, I haven't seen the latest version that we just got, but can I ask, and maybe you know the answer, did we change the wording in here on appointing the land development officer as commissioners instead of the planning commission? Do you know if that's in here?
I haven't seen it yet, and we got copies being printed, I think.
Yeah, there's one right here.
Okay. I know that we had decided we were going to change that.
Right.
I just haven't looked.
That's what I was asking. And the other one we talked about was the, I don't think we ever got in there, was the change to the poultry farm acreage. Did that ever get in there?
No, I think what he's talking about is the change to consider reducing the lot size, so that goes out instead.
Grandfather,
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if that's changing.
I don't know either. That was just,
But that is a change that we've already approved to make.
yes, that's correct. That's
We can
exactly
assume
correct.
that whether it's in this version or not.
It will be in there. Yeah, and the same was questioned yesterday on the solar farm.
That is.
David, did he put it in here? Okay. Okay.
Just like,
Good, thanks, Travis. Those are the three things that I wanted to check on. I hadn't had a chance to do them.
if you look on page 47, it's in paragraph 62-265. It talks about the land development officer who shall be appointed by the board of commissioners.
That was the change that we.
That's a change we were talking about. 47?
Yes.
Yes, it's on page 47, article 62-265.
Got it. Yeah. That's it.
And the other one was concerning the poultry farms, which you got that covered. We're not sure. I was just looking for the towers we have and alternative energy.
I'm sorry, Ryan. What? Oh, okay.
So alternative energy is dealt with on page 36 and page.
Yeah, I see that on 36.
And on page 8, you have the definition of alternative energy, which kind of undergirds that. It's on 36. On these tables, I wish we could format it where the column headings repeat at the top of each.
Yeah,
page.
right.
I think the reason why
We can, I mean, we got that capability, I believe. And that's not a substantive change, I mean, we don't know.
That's an editorial thing.
But it's very helpful.
It is, I agree.
Dallas on page 29. 62-163B.
Yeah, there's wording.
So that's about your existing livestock operation.
Excellent.
Yeah, that gets it down to three, the
So
three.
that was in there, as an alternative to using the twin acres.
Right.
Right, much better.
Yeah.
I believe the
I think
city.
everybody likes that.
I'm not sure, but what I think the planning commission has a request. I'll comment on that right now.
I'm not sure that you
I
do
mean,
it right now.
it's in there, well, it's in their
Yeah.
schedule.
That would take advantage of that.
I don't know, it was a request to set aside their residents from the farming. But I don't know if it needed this particular or not, I don't know.
Well, we'll be able to finalize this at the next meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
Where do you address that quickly?
We do.
Let's see.
Paper term in here is rehabilitation, I saw it just a minute ago.
On page 39, halfway house on the matrix.
It was already in there,
Um,
previous versions, but it's
On
in
page,
They showed conditional only down here. Before it was permitted under some section, but now it's conditional only under, I think that's commercial.
commercial, right.
We need headings on it.
Another heading, that would be nice, right?
Yeah, conditional only under C1 for halfway houses.
And then this is done. Is this, so it's on our computer? It should be. Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's already done.
The way I was expecting it to.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
The same thing on
it's
the
just one line.
page 42 with the rehab.
Oh, you're talking about the headings.
Yeah.
Page what?
42 has the rehab change.
Yep. And then the halfway house has a definitions page, apparently,
Yeah.
Article 2 definitions.
I think they were together originally, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
All definitions.
Well, it is kind of two animals, two different animals.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. It looks like we factor many changes to the definition just to the, just change to make it conditional.
Mhm. Question from the, young radio guys that were yesterday, and I talked to him after he did on the street, I spoke with him a little bit, they still have a question about part of the ordinance that put the caps of building height at 40 or 42 feet. Should that also be, I mean, I don't think we addressed that.
We didn't directly, no.
Do you know where we were found?
Yeah, I saw it a minute ago and I should have bookmarked.
I've got a, David Clark had an earlier draft that had that, and I've got it here somewhere. What number is that one? Number, what page? What tab? Because I put it under the tab.
Oh,
Where is the ordinance change? Oh, I just have to get it here. That's really.
it should be under tab 9.
Yeah.
Here's 29, here's 2, that should be 2 current, it's only 34 results.
This is what, I assume David had done this at one time, and then we took it out before we added those others. This had, under the exemptions, along with radio and television towers, electric, there was a line for amateur radio.
Here it is. It's on page.
That was an addition that was being considered, but I don't know if they ever got international.
62,125.
Yeah.
It's on page 26.
Travis, this is one, at one time, David and Clark had applied.
Yeah.
And this green is the different,
As an exemption, as part of the exemption list.
yeah, and
And that's all we need. to do.
because we've already got it covered with the 60-foot rule.
Yeah. I think that's all we need.
That, I think so too.
Add Henry or Howard to that exemption list.
What are you looking at on this page 26?
Right.
Where right limitations, you go to 125.
Okay.
And it includes water towers, radio towers, towers, electricity, transmission tower, and utility pole. The recommendation or proposal was to include in amateur radio antenna support structures.
Oh,
And the reason for that was,
We need to address this 47 maximum.
no, this was a proposal only as far as I know.
okay, just adding that to that exemption list would be true of the power line already.
And on the other, what have that other piece, but on that,
Is this something you updated to add to it?
Well, it'll cover the situation, won't it?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
the question and concern I heard when they talked to me, Travis, was that unless there's something here, the planning commission people will believe that it's not exempt at all. That there is a 42-foot limit, not the 60. And this was their thought was this would avoid confusion,
And it's reasonable.
which I think makes sense.
And that's the easiest way to address it, just exempt it on that list.
Yeah, I don't see any
It
other
will
way.
still fall back to the 60-foot.
That's still in there, it's a 60. Yeah, those are
So
still.
right now, we can't.
They're actually
go over
conflicting,
42.
they're actually conflicting right now.
Okay, so you got to just add that in.
But David can review that too, to make sure.
We generally hold these meetings open for about 15 minutes. If there's nobody there, we can close them out. So,
You got nowhere to go.
I don't either, and we can leave it open for a while. And I'm gonna sit right here. If you want.
Your first yurts in the same one.
Sorry.
Are yurts addressed in this law?
I thought they were. Didn't we address those? And then planting and so forth?
As an accessory building and for, but I don't know about the temporary residence on that. I don't remember.
I don't remember that we did.
All right, let's see. Shannon had determined that they were fine for use in someone's yard as an accessory building.
Yeah.
But whether we added language to have a yurt village for, like,
I thought we did it with planting. I know we discussed it, but that, I guess I didn't necessarily mention it.
lamping's not in there. What's the other search? Temporary housing, maybe? What are those?
Hold your house. Did you circle yours? Y-U-T?
Y-U-R-T.
Y-U-R-T. We got it listed on your camping permit. Means a portable structure for lodging.
What's the section number for that?
Back up here. Okay, here's the section on campgrounds.
It's in the definitions. Under section 7880, well, no, it's not definition, 7887.
it's talking about camping, temporary housing, and safe access and so forth. And under E2, second paragraph from the bottom, it is mentioned.
What page is that?
120. But that's just access.
Right.
But under definitions, this included as a camping unit, so anywhere the camping unit is addressed, it's going to be covered.
Be covered, right.
So let's look at camping units, see where that is.
I didn't know we talked about sunbirds and snowbirds in here. But we do. Just thought that.
So Ryan, on page 112 is kind of the beginning of that whole section. It talks about camping units, and camping units definition includes yours. So that's what we're doing. It's okay for us to discuss it. It's okay for us to discuss it. I don't know, it's not a meeting, but it's a public.
It's an open meeting to discuss this.
Yeah. I mean, it's not citizen engagement, we're discussing what we can.
That's just code of citizens.
Okay, just check.
It was advertised.
It's all we really saying.
That would not be a good one.
Sure, it would be a great pleasure.
Okay, would anybody care to make a motion to adjourn on this?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Sure.
Would you join me in prayer? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you we can join in this public place with the freedom to discuss issues and share ideas and make decisions. And Father, we thank you for our freedom that we've exercised in our elections just recently. And we do pray for peace in our community and our country as we move forward. And we pray for a renewed spirit of optimism in our country to take hold, that we may return to the great nation that we have been. Father, as we consider ideas this evening for the good of our community, we pray as always for wisdom and guidance, that the will that is carried out here tonight might serve our community in the best way possible. And as always, we pray in the name of Jesus, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion for one change to the agenda. Several months ago, we authorized the purchase of a fire truck, and that was to be purchased on a business lease. The fire truck, we've found out now is going to be delivered Monday, and these folks won't check for the full amount on delivery. I think that's kind of tacky of them, but they want their money. And what's gonna happen is the county will be reimbursed by the leasing agency for that amount. But we actually have to do a resolution to go ahead and pay pay the amount and have the leasing company reimburse us. So I would make a motion that we add that to the agenda tonight as the first item under new business.
I'll second that if there's no more. I have none.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the page. Aye. Okay, does anybody have any proposed changes to the minutes?
I have none.
Okay, I do actually have one. This will be on the second page that we have here of the October 12th meeting.
Workshop.
This is the October 12th
Do the workshop.
work session, yes. The very first set of minutes in your meeting, second page, under action items. And I apologize, I wish I had noticed this sooner, we could have just had it changed, but I just caught it a little bit ago. Under action items, B1, sentence starting with Shannon Bassett. Says strictly a change of ownership. He has gone through the background check and paid $1,000 fine. I think that should be a $1,000 fee rather than a $1,000 fine.
I'm not on the same page.
That's page 3.
I'm sorry, it's page 3. It's the second page is what I was trying to say. Well, the second
Piece of paper.
piece of paper.
I'm with you. Thank you.
All right, so now B,
Yeah, this says that they paid a $1,000 fine, and actually they paid a $1,000 fee, which is quite a different thing. So I would propose that we make that one change. Anybody have any other changes?
move to adopt the minutes with that change.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sandy, you want to give us our financial statement, please?
This is the financial statement for September 30th. Each department should be at 75% of their budget used. Departments over budget at September 30th were tax assessor at 76%, voter registrar at 78%, sheriff's department 81%, detention center 77%, public defender 83%, coroner 76%, fire department 81%, solid waste 77%, planning and zoning 77%, E911 dispatch 76%, and the juvenile court fund was at 120%. Overall, we are at 51% of the total revenue budget received and 74% of the total expenditure budget used. Total revenue received to date, $10,014,914. Total expenditures to date, $14,479,792.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you, Sandy. Okay, which brings us to the first item of business, under new business, and that would be a resolution to pay for the fire truck and to ask for reimbursement from the leasing agent. And I would make that motion.
Mr. Chairman, we've done this before, so we have the resolution language that we can use in a similar situation.
It's not uncommon, for us to pay up front and be reimbursed by the leasing.
Okay, I'll second.
Any discussion?
How much money?
Hang on just a second, Ryan, get that exact figure from you. And as I recall, this was on a 10-year business lease. Any other discussion?
Do we know if we'll get that reimbursement by the end of the year or not?
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and add this to the agenda tonight rather than wait for December.
Okay.
Because the objective is that we absolutely want to get this before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All in favor? Aye. Next item will be appointment of county clerk. And I would like to submit the name of Clarice Melvin for that position.
I'll second.
We have any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a zoning request from 515 Property Holdings from A1 Agricultural to A1 Agricultural with conditional use. I believe this is the one that we're going to combine, but I want to make sure before I say that. No, this is,
No, it's not.
this is not. This is going to be for a mining operation, for limestone mining.
There were a couple questions, I think, in our workshop. Any further updates on that, Shannon, or anyone else? I didn't get any.
That's the only question I know of is, the Jim here was, had some questions on the ingress egress, where the property fronts on County Road, along the road. I believe Jim has met with Mr. Pierce, and I think they kind of got on the same page of what that impact's going to be, and, where the location's going to be, and, everything good on that, Jim?
Yes. My concern yesterday was the location of the property on Salona Road, and Mr. Pierce's property is on the upper end of Salona Road, which is currently used by Carmoose and what's the other mining, David, what's it?
Carmoose and I don't know what the other name is.
That section of Salona Road is probably the best section of the road that we have, gravel-wise. They have been good partners for the county. They've kept the road maintained. It's wide because they're in the stone manufacturing business. They even put the stone down, so we don't have a problem with the ingress and egress where that property is located.
Okay, good. Have we had anybody else call to object to it? And
No, but again, Charlie, like I said, we done all the advertising, we advertised it in the paper, we posted the property on both 515 and Salona Road. We notified adjacent property owners, and nobody showed up at planning commission meeting in opposition, and I haven't had any calls at all.
okay. Do we have anybody here that would like to speak to this specifically tonight? Okay, that being the case, I would make a motion that we approve the request.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next application is Clyde W. Lightfoot, R1 residential to A1 agricultural. And this is the one where the objective is to have these rezoned as agriculture and then combined into lots. Do we have anybody here to speak specifically to that tonight? Okay, Shannon, nobody complained?
No,
Okay.
same advertisement on it, and, we've had no calls or concerns, and nobody was in the planning commission meeting with opposition. And you're right, he's currently got a 35-acre tract and a 10-acre tract, both of them residential, he just wants to zone those agricultural combined. Has a personal vineyard right now that they're using with, and there's a possibility that later on they might extend that to a 3 to 5 acre.
And I should note that this is in an area where agricultural is prevalent.
There's quite a bit of agriculture around them, so rezoning that, if approved, will be in harmony with the rest of the properties.
Any other comments or discussion? Okay, if not, we make a motion that we approve.
I think we typically approve that with a contingency that they will be.
You're right, and I will modify my motion to say that it's approved on the condition that the lots are combined.
Understand. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Georgia Department of Transportation and the United States Department of Transportation for a grant for public transportation assistance under section 5311 of the Federal Transit Laws under Chapter 53, Title 49 of the United States Code. This is for our mass buses for next year, and as I understand it, there will be no expenditures associated with this for 2017. So, I know that we had discussed,
Yeah. I move that we, this is something that comes up on our agenda virtually every month, something to do with the mass transit system, and it's mostly technicalities and paperwork type things. So we discussed the possibility of granting the chairman authority to execute these documents as they arrive, as long as there's no expenditure in excess of $20,000. And so I will make that in form of a motion to the chairman has the authority to execute this and future documents in 2017, as long as they're under that threshold.
I would second that and recommend that we do it because of the reduction in the bureaucracy and time spent dealing with federal paperwork. I second that.
I'll miss seeing all these match things. I'll get you those. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Final adoption of a new chapter to the Gilmer County Code of Ordinances titled EMS and Ambulance Transport Fees. Okay, this is one that, I guess this is our third meeting on this, so this one will become final if it's approved tonight. Does anybody have any questions, comments, discussions on this? If not, I would make a motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Final adoption of a new chapter to the Gilmer County Code of Ordinances titled Alarm Systems. Now, the only thing about this was I did want to have some figures before we actually voted on this. I don't think we put figures to this. So, now, I discussed this with Tony earlier, and I think David may have some figures on it, but we did those for tonight.
So you got that document?
I don't have a document, but what David had said is if we do the approval of the ordinance,
we have a separate item here to set the figures by resolution, but I really had promised people that we would have those figures. No, this is solid waste.
Basically, we're talking about the fine structure where on the first offense or first false alarm and then the second and the third
Yeah.
is basically what we're looking at and what,
I believe it was, the 2 false alarms were no cost, and then with the third one, then we started being fee involved.
I think the, kind of, the fee that seems to be uniform on that throughout other areas is right around $250. It'll be up to you guys to determine if you see that to be.
Well, I don't think I want to start this that high. This is something that I think, we'll put a fee in, and I'd like to keep it kind of modest, and let's see where this goes. And if it continues to be a problem, we'll raise the fee by resolution. So what I would suggest is that we approve this based on a $50 fee for the third occurrence and a $100 fee for fourth and above. And then if, let's see if that sort of curtails things, and if not, we can always go back by resolution and change that.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I would suggest $50 for the third occurrence and $100 for the fourth and above as a starting place.
do we need to modify this that says, I don't believe it says in here that we,
We don't want that as part of the ordinance, we're gonna do that as a separate.
No. The only reason that I bring that up is because I've had a number of inquiries from people asking how much, and I have made a commitment that we would not approve this without having figures to go with it. And this would actually come, I think about 2 items down. We have an approval of the resolution to set the alarm system ordinance fees. So this is where we would set those, but I wanted to throw that out there before we
I agree.
Not as part of the ordinance.
Not as part of it. No, the ordinance will simply say it'll be set by resolution.
by resolution, that's correct.
Okay, yes, sir.
Is this fire alarm only, or is this both sheriff's alarm and fire alarm?
This is both, and primarily the sheriff's alarm from alarm systems, residential alarm systems, and commercial for that matter, that we continue to get false alarms from due to usually faulty equipment. So what we're saying is you can get a couple, in any one year you can get a couple of false alarms, but on that third false alarm it's going to cost you a little money, and the fourth one will cost you a little more, and you'll really need to look at getting whatever the problem is corrected if we're getting 3 and 4 false alarms from it.
But I believe, Mr. Chairman, this does not apply to residential, only commercial.
Is it only commercial? Okay, I know we had discussed
We
both
discussed
ways.
that, but I think
It does include residential as well.
Yeah.
We just not require registration.
That's it, yeah.
That's required.
Residential, that we don't have to register, but it includes both.
I know that was our discussion, part of it, but I think the wording here says the fines are for commercial alarm systems only. So that would not apply to residential.
And it should read residential and commercial, because 98% of our issues as far as false fire alarms is in residential application.
Maybe I'm missing it, but I think registered or unregistered, but it only says commercial. Tony, I want to be clear on
What
that.
page are you on?
On the page 4, item, what, C is it? How is that? I don't know how it's marked. Registered alarm users of commercial alarm systems shall be fined as follows. And then the next line, unregistered alarm users of commercial alarm systems. I think all the wording that I remember was taken out relative to personal, residential,
On page 3,
unless I missed it.
the very bottom sentence on page 3.
Also, sorry.
Says alarm users of household alarm systems found to be in violation of this code section shall be fined as follows.
You are correct, Mr. Chairman. I see that, and what was changed there was that it was not to be registered.
Well, we are requiring commercial alarms to be registered, but we're not requiring residential alarms to be registered. That was the change that we did make.
I agree, and correct myself on that. Yes, you're right. And there is a section there for residential. I misstated that.
Okay. Okay, so with that in mind, do we have a motion then to approve this resolution?
We do.
Okay. I'll second it.
I think that's all motions.
Is there any discussion on it? Yes, sir.
Uh,
Would you come to the microphone, please?
It doesn't impact me, but are you saying in a calendar year? You said a year. You're talking about in a calendar year, and we define in there.
It's my understanding that this is per calendar year. Yes.
My name's Dave Bennett.
Yes.
It is explicitly stated calendar year.
Any other comment or discussion? If not, yes. But would you come to the microphone, please? We have to be able to hear you in the tape.
Kelly Altman, my question is, does this pertain to dispatch or just the alarm system going on fault?
No, this would pertain to dispatch.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Any other comments? If not, all in favor? Aye. Okay, action on a resolution for the appointment of an alarm systems coordinator. Tony, we have somebody in mind for that. I believe that was going to be you, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Well, I think the appropriate person as far as my recommendation would be for Sean Williams, our fire inspector, since this more directly falls in line with the prevention portion of things. I think that would be a good choice.
Okay.
I would make a motion we appoint Sean Williams to that, to be the alarm systems coordinator.
All right. I'll second.
Tony will thank me later.
I was going to file it on top. I'll remember that. Okay, any discussions or comment on this? If not, all in favor? Aye. Approval of a resolution to set the alarm system's ordinance fees. So I would make a motion that on the third occurrence, it's $50, and on the fourth occurrence and above during any calendar year, that it would be $100.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I make just a general comment?
Yes.
We don't see this as a revenue source. We're trying to discourage activity that's tying up resources, costing the county money. That's all this is about.
Adopting the first reader to amend the chapter titled Land Use Ordinance of the Gilmer County Code. We did have a public comment section earlier tonight, but we didn't have anybody come to make any comments during that particular section. Before we move on, I would ask if there are any comments or discussion on any of the proposed changes here tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I think we had discussion yesterday of someone concerned about the minimum square footage and setbacks that we are setting, changing definitions of in here. I don't know if anyone's here to speak to that or not, but I would like to express my feelings on that. I think we are doing the right thing by exempting certain accessory structures from our whole process. I think that's a step forward, actually.
And by that, you're talking about those under 200
Under 200 square feet.
On non-permanent foundation.
And on non-permanent foundations, we'll get it all defined properly, but I think that is a benefit to the citizens. They're not having to worry about getting a permit for those particular items. I do not think that creates any safety issues that we need to worry about. But I know there is some concern in the community that that's opening up some possibilities that they have concerns. But I personally would like to leave that in there unless there's further objections.
I think that came up fairly late in the process, and I think in discussions with David Clark earlier, it was believed that that would be a significant enough change that if we were to change it at this point, we would essentially have to start the process over again.
Yes.
So the feeling was that we go forward with this and get this done because we have to get this done in December, or rather December meeting. And then if there is sufficient concern about this afterwards, we can always go back and make changes to that particular portion of it.
And I'm in agreement with that.
Okay.
Shannon, correct me if I'm wrong, but it lines up pretty well with National Building Code.
It does. Actually, in the current 2012 International Code, a 200 square foot accessory structure is actually exempt under the code. It was just in conflict with our ordinance.
Right.
It's always been in conflict. So this kind of cleared up where they kind of more right along the same lines. And I think it is maybe a little minor concern out there, but it's definitely overall correct.
I would like to make a motion that we adopt this revision of the land use ordinance.
First reader, we'll call the first reader.
And I should have said that, yes.
If we call the first reader, then I'll.
We adopt the first reader, which is yes.
Did you
Second that, Travis did.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion on it before we vote? So this will be adopted in the first reader, and then we will vote on it in the December meeting to make it final. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Adopting the first reader to amend the chapter titled Farm Wineries of the Gilmer County Code. A big change in this is that where we discuss the growing grapes for wine, we're adding grapes, berries, and fruits. So, but not dandelions. Grapes, berries, and fruits. We did also have a public comment section on that earlier tonight and did not receive comments on that. So that being said, does anyone have any comment on that that they'd like to make before we vote on it tonight? If not, I would make a motion that we adopt the first reader to amend the chapter titled Farm Wineries of the Gilmer County Code.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution authorizing the chairman to sign an agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for roundabout lighting as part of the State Road 382 extension. We had some questions about that, and Dallas, I had a discussion on that. I was not able to get in touch with Emily Dunn, who is on the DOT board, but did have the discussion, and you're going to have to remind me of his name, the district engineer in Cartersville.
Dwayne
Comer. Dwayne Comer. I talked with him about it, and what he said was that I really needed to talk to the project engineer because he had much more familiarity with it than Mr. Acree. So I had a discussion with him. We had one question that was answered regarding whether or not this would entail any traffic control facilities. They're quite expensive. Or would it be illumination only? And he assured me that we were talking about illumination only. It would not involve anything else. Down some questions that you had, this was primarily estimates for the cost of the lighting, estimates for the maintenance, estimates for the cost of equipment and so forth. He said that he thought that he might be able to come up with some of that, but he didn't have it readily available, and he didn't think that he could have it in time for tonight's meeting. But he did, I emailed him a list of questions, and he said that he would get back with me on all of them.
One of the questions, Charlie, was comparable or any actuals from another roundabout in the state, and did he have any conversation about that?
I did discuss that with him, and it was basically the same situation, that he would just have to look and see. He didn't, offhand, he did not have that information.
Does everyone know what we're talking about? Okay. And real brief
Yes,
summary.
if you would, I apologize.
So you've heard of talk for years of the 382 extension to connect out to 515. At the intersection of 5 South, the plans call for a roundabout, right? We're downtown, we have fun going around the rim. So, disagreement between Gilmer County and the State Department of Transportation. They're asking us to provide maintenance and energy costs for the illumination system of that roundabout. My question was, are we committing to keeping up any future traffic control lighting systems? And they say absolutely not, it's just illumination streetlights. And so our commitment would be the energy cost and maintenance. They will design, install all the equipment, and we kind of take it from there moving forward. As it turns out, this is a fairly common agreement between municipalities or counties and states where, you know, the facilities are within the boundaries of a city, for instance. So they're asking us to take a part in the project, basically. And it's a 50-year commitment. I mean, it is a big deal. I mean, so we asked some questions, and Dallas wanted some, some truer costs from other similar projects, which we don't have. But I personally feel that the project, this is a fairly minimal contribution in my estimation for the success of that project, which I believe will be a big asset to our community. So I'm in favor of moving forward.
This is going to be about a $10 million project, and I don't know how long that we've been trying to get this done. I've heard anything from 15 to 20 years, over 20 years. So I would say that it's about a $10 million project, and our portion of that would be simply to pay the light bill. So based on that, I personally am in favor of moving forward with it, and let's get this thing done. We need to get that built. So
I'll make my comments again, and I'll keep them short, but I am in favor, and I want to support, and I will support the extension of 382 out to 515. I think that's a benefit to our county, a benefit to our citizens. It's taken a long time coming for, I think, several reasons we won't go into, but it is going to be funded, it is in the plan, and that's good for us. The problem I had and the concern I had was having the county commit to the state that we will spend our money from our general fund to maintain, to pay for the energy costs, to pay for the repair costs, and to pay for any materials that are needed to repair and replace any of the lighting fixtures and associated equipment. That bothers me that we are being asked to take our county money away from what I think we need to spend on our county roads, not on a state road. That's my one concern. The contract has a lot of undefined answers. As we said, we don't know the estimated energy costs, we don't know the estimated maintenance costs, we don't know the repair costs, we don't know the fine if we do not pay for those utilities. The fine is to pay for all of the construction and installation that is an undefined number. So there's a lot of unknowns that I'm not comfortable with. There is no choice to get out of this contract if the city takes over that section of the road in the county and annexes that. We will still be paying for 50 years. So they're just those answers that I don't have, and for that reason, I would prefer personally to continue to try and negotiate and talk and get further answers. But I understand the need for it. I think Travis and Charlie are willing to take those risks, and I understand that. I'm just not willing to put local taxpayers' money into something that I believe belongs to the state. If they want to spend $10 million building it, they can spend a little more, pay for the lights. That's my personal view, but that's a personal view.
I would prefer to think of that instead of saying that Travis and Charlie are willing to take that risk, as to say that Travis and Charlie recognize the value of it as being such that would be worthwhile to go forward.
I think you're right, and I apologize for the wording that I used, Charlie and Travis. I think it is of a significance that we need to, I say, negotiate. I mean, I'd rather pay for the maintenance and mowing of the right-of-way than I would take the risk of somebody running over 3 light poles and costing me $300,000 to replace them. That's me. I think there's room for further negotiation and discussion that I would try to pursue, but I understand.
Well, we did try to negotiate it, and we hit a brick wall. When this was first proposed, one of the 3 of us screamed bloody murder about a roundabout.
That's true.
And asked for a red light instead, and just really got a little obnoxious about it. And then the DOT told that individual that that it was going to be a roundabout. So that seems to be the decision that they've made.
And I'm glad they make that decision. I'm glad they're going to spend $10 million in our county, and I appreciate it, and I thank them for it. What I don't like is them forcing me to spend my local tax money that I'm responsible for to pay for state-owned property. That's it.
Now,
Period.
regarding the situation if we don't pay, there is a clause in this contract that says if we decide that we're going to stop paying for the electric bill, that they'll figure out how much it costs them to put in all those lights and send us a bill, and we can pay for them ourselves. I don't anticipate that ever happening. I don't really think of that as a problem, because I can't imagine a situation where we would decide that we're not going to pay the light bill for the roundabout. I think this is going to be a really, really good thing for Gilmer County. It's not perfect. It's not what I would have proposed if I had the authority to do it, but it's going to be really good for Gilmer County. And we've already seen that our actions can result in a significant delay on this. And a delay with the DOT can mean...
It's an assumption. I don't know if that's true, but it is an assumption.
It's my assumption based on my conversations with them. And a delay for DOT means your project goes off the boards, and who knows when you're going to get it back on. So I don't see this as a showstopper, the fact that they're looking for us to pay the light bill. Other counties do it, and it's kind of the norm.
What's the estimated time?
I'm sorry, but we got to get you on the recording.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Greg Altman. What's the estimated time of completion of this project?
The 2017, they would begin with the obtaining the rights of way and the engineering, with paving to begin in 2018 is the current schedule on it.
And we will not know what to put in our budget for 2018, assuming it's completed, for that utility bill.
But one of your questions is, what is the cost of utilities? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I say. We will not know what the budget.
Well, ideally, we'll have a response back from Mr. Acre on that. So in time that we'll know about what to put in the budget. But yeah, it's gonna cost us money. It'll cost us whatever the liability is to eliminate those lamps that they put in.
Dallas, you mentioned that if an accident happened and 3 lampposts were, taken down, doesn't the insurance company for the automotive or the driver pay for that?
Actually, they should, but if not, the county's gonna have to have insurance that'll cover it. It would just be our deductible.
Right, we pay the deductible.
Understand, thank you.
Yes, sir. Is there any other comments or discussion on this?
It's gonna be a beautiful roundabout.
If there's any such
I mean,
thing.
really, it's state of the art.
They did promise it would be state of the art. I told them I wanted a state of the art red light.
And hopefully,
That wasn't it. Okay, anything else? Well,
I would like to make a motion that we authorize the chairman to sign the agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for the roundabout lighting as part of the 382 extension project.
Dallas, should I wait on a second from you for that?
you can wait.
I'll second that motion. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
No.
A resolution approving the addendum to the contract with Advanced Disposal. To give you a little background on that. Or Jim, would you like to give a little background on that? Advanced Disposal approached us to say that they were going to have to raise their rates a bit. And what happened was they have not had a rate increase since 2009. Now, there's a section in the contract that says that they can, based on the Consumer Price Index, can index that every year. But they had not been taking advantage of that, and we had not been reminding them. And then have no plans to in the future. So essentially, they had got some new management come in and they crunched some numbers and figured out that they were losing quite a bit on Gilmer County. So we began the discussions on a rate increase. And we started out kind of going all over the place. In the end, it was boiling down to about a 40% rate increase, which, yeah, that was my reaction too. And their argument was, it's been 7 years and it was too low to begin with. We're losing money. We have to do this. So we started negotiating with them, and what we finally came up with that I think the county can live with, and that they reluctantly have agreed to live with. It's sort of a stair-step approach. Instead of 40%, it would be 29%. But the way that would work would be that in 2017, there would be a 7% increase. In 2018 and in 2019, there would be an 8% increase in each of those 2 years. And then in 2020 and 21, there would be a 3% increase. So it's a 29% increase, but it's stair-stepped over 5 years. In conjunction with that, the CPI clause that's in the contract would go away because they already have their increases built in for the next 5 years, so they're not going to do the CPI over and above that. That's where we are, and in my mind, that is the best way forward for Gilmer County at this point. If we try to go with somebody else, we'll still pay that much, I'm convinced, and we don't necessarily get the stair step. And they're working with us because they want to keep our business. So we've gotten some concessions from them. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, the only thing, Mr. Chairman, and for the public also, the choice that
you would be faced with, if you didn't want to accept the addendum or the graduated rate increase, would be to put the contract out for bid. And when you do that, it's kind of a roll of the dice. You don't know what prices you're going to get. And this way, with it in the existing contract, at least the Board of Commissioners and your successors, if so, you've got a mechanism of rate increases that you can utilize in your budgeting for the next 5 years. And that, to me, that's a lot. That gives some stability to a situation that really could be unstable, you know. And the other thing that I want to say about advance disposal, they have been providing this service since 2009. They've been good partners for the county and for the community, because and Gilmer County's been good for them too, because they have been able to expand into the private sector because we were the anchor, so to speak, for their business here. The one thing that became telling to them when they had the management change was our desire, or your predecessor's desire, to institute recycling. And recycling, at that time, they were able to pick the recycling up, haul it to Mineral Bluff, do the separation there, and then work from it. But because of the recycling market, they had to shut that down. And the recycling material that we collect at 3 of our convenience centers now is hauled to Alpharetta, Georgia, and separated and sorted there. And that is reflected in your rate structure.
A very large portion of that is recycled.
Yes. That's all I got to say.
Anybody have any comments on it? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nancy DuBarton, and in keeping in the vision of the Keep Gilmer Beautiful Advisory Committee, I would request that the county consider in making any changes to the proposal for advanced disposal, or whoever might be our trash provider or collector, that you stipulate some kind of expansion for commercial recycling. Right now, there's advanced disposal only provides cardboard recycling in this county. And there's a whole untapped resource there that's going in the landfill.
Tim, you want to address that? I know we talked about a number of items that we can recycle.
If you look in the contract addendum, what the recycling that they do, now ours is single stream. They do cardboard and paper. They do cans. They do plastics.
Newspaper.
Pardon? And newspaper, yes. And the way we handle the recycling program is that we have 3 convenience centers, Tower Road, Cartacade, and Coosawatta, that have dual compactors. And what we did, you did, in June of this year, is we designated one of those compactors at those 3 convenience centers as a recycling compactor. That's all they received. What Advance does is they come in, and Randy Chadwick, our manager of solid waste, is here. We have averaged, Randy, about 9 pulls per month. Is that correct? So we're pulling 9 compactors a month of recycled material that is all to Alpharetta. Now, all of our recycling, single stream, means that it's all mixed together. It is compacted, they haul it to Alpharetta, and that is where the separation occurs. But it is cardboard, newspaper, tin cans, aluminum, plastic, and am I missing something there?
That's
Well,
what's
let's-
listed in the.
Other than glass.
Yeah, everything, other than
Yeah.
glass.
Let me ask you, Mr. Barton, with what we're showing here, and there may have been some problems with some of this in the past, and if so, we'll get that straightened out, but with what we're showing here, newspaper, cardboard, aluminum, steel cans, and plastics, number 1 through 7, specifically not glass, they were very specific about that. Would that, do you think, suit what the committee is?
My concern is that there is no commercial, business type pickup being offered in this county other than cardboard. I mean, granted, a business could take their recycling to one of the compactors, but for a business, it's a little more inconvenient. As homeowners and residents, it's easier for us because we have to go to the compacting place anyway to drop our garbage. But I'm concerned about the commercial aspect.
Could I ask Jim or
Well,
whatever your
commercial, I mean, Walmart, there are a number of businesses in Gilmer County that do recycling every day. But it's up to the business to do that and not to the county.
But do they do that at all at the city level, municipal?
I can't tell you, no, no. They, now, Walmart, does recycling now, and granted, Nancy is correct. To my knowledge, all they do is cardboard and paper, but they do it. Lowe's doesn't. There's a number of businesses that do their own recycling in this county, but that's up to the business. I don't know of any government that provides that recycling service to a private business.
Well, and I think your concern is that there's not a commercial entity that will go around and pick these up. But that would, again, be a business that
Yeah,
somebody would have to start.
in Florida, where I moved from 10 years ago, they had a commercial, usually Advanced Disposal, would have, a trash bin and a recycling bin for any commercial business. And they would pick up both. One goes one way, one goes the other way. That's what I'm trying to get across here, is that they provide that service, not for free, but provide a container for any business that wants to do recycling, so that they can also contribute to that and keep these other things out of our landfills.
Okay, I see what you're saying, and I think they'd be willing to do that, but I think the business would have to contract with them to do that.
Describe, if
That
you
would be
would,
true, yes.
describe, if you would, the demographics of the area you moved from. I mean, is it a populous area? Do you mind sharing where it was?
Well, yeah, it's not like Elgin.
Okay, so, in my discussions, I had dinner with Advanced Disposal down in Savannah a while back. And it's an economic feasibility issue for them. If there's not enough, in demographic world, we use rooftops, and we'll use that. They can't do it. It's just not economic from their point of view. And so I suspect that's the issue here in a county of 29,000. How many businesses to make it economic for people to have a route established and so forth and so on. So that's part of the issue here.
And another thing too is that recycling used to actually be profitable for these folks. Whatever it was they picked up, they could, in the end, make a profit from that. You know, over and above what they were charging to actually get it and recycle it. That is no longer the case now. It's, from what I'm told, it's a break even at best.
Yeah, if that, but there's so many other advantages to recycling other than the cost benefit. You have the pollution of water and you know, from the landfill plastics that never degrade, that leach all kinds of chemicals into the ground and poison our groundwater and stuff. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get across here, is that there is, granted, there is probably a disadvantage cost-wise, but the advantage gained from recycling far outweighs any kind of monetary deficit.
And I agree with you completely, but I just believe that it's something that the individual business would have to address rather than the county going out and saying, we're going to contract for these folks to put them in by your business.
Yeah, and Charlie, I would be more than delighted to refer any business that wanted to pursue recycling, give them the advance people that we've dealt with, names, and if they want to sit down with Advance and can work out a recycling arrangement with them.
Well, you know, another possibility might be a merchants association or something like that. They could get together with the businesses and perhaps negotiate a group contract with them.
Many of Advanced private customers are businesses that will have the 6 or 8 cubic yard dumpster at their business. I'm sure that if that business said, hey, will you send me another one there for recycled material? That they would. Now, they might require a compactor as well, like they do with us. But I'll bet you that they...
Well, they may not, because they're not talking about the sheer volume when they have to tell them.
That's right. That's right. I don't know, but I mean, I'd be happy to refer any business that would be interested in doing that to the advanced executives that we...
Yeah, we'll help any way we can, but the businesses have to be the ones to kind of get together and initiate it.
Well, I will certainly work towards that and through our Keep Gilmer Beautiful committee.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Speaking of that, I think it's worth pointing out that the pickups that go on along the roads, and that does go to our waste, solid waste at no cost. We don't end up with a charge. We pay for that to be hauled away, but we're not charging. So that's a benefit, and I appreciate what's going on there as far as the Keep Gilmer Beautiful part of it. Have you done, Jim, have you done any general thoughts on what the total increases in cost will be from a budget standpoint for this numbers? Just a general idea. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to raise the citizens' cost, if possible.
Well, one of the, if I were looking at it, I mean, right now, I mean, the budget that I presented to you for 2017 for the solid waste, I would go back to that line item and ask you for a 7% increase based on the amendment to the contract. But, Dallas, one of the things, and you rightly pointed it out, some of the things that we're doing, and I give Randy all of the credit and the kudos for, I call it good management practices and things. Our revenue in the solid waste department compared to years past, and this is both in household, the bag garbage, and also in the scale, what we call scale revenue, has been increasing. Now, what happens is that you can say, well, yeah, if the volume of your waste is increased, well, then your expenses are also gonna increase, because you've got more waste there, and so you're gonna have more to haul off. But it's a little bit early for us to determine that, since all I have is September right now. But toward the end of the year, we'll be able to see, but to be safe, as far as a financial thing, what the amount that I put in the 2017 budget did not anticipate this 7% increase for next year. So what I would probably do is I'd ask you to increase that line item expenditure by 7%.
I think it's safe to say, though, and I don't want to speak for y'all, but from my perspective, I don't see any danger of having any increased fees for the public from this.
I'm not expecting that.
I don't think it'll happen.
In fact, I'd like to be able to reassure our citizens of that too. You're right, Charlie.
Well, in what it does, and I don't mean to belabor the point, what it does is it gives us the tools to be able to plan our budget every year. And then we'll know better. We know what will be facing us in the next year, and then it will be up to you guys to fund it.
The only variable we've got is that fuel surcharge, and
That is the only variable.
That's it. Yeah.
And we can't predict that.
Right.
What line item would it be, Jim? What would you call it?
The expenditure,
Yes.
The expenditure is
contract service.
contract services. And I think don't hold me to this, because 275,000.
So 7% of that.
So if I increase that by
That's $18,000 roughly.
No, I want to say that I think this is, for the reasons you stated, that we get a good firm 5-year known quantity on that. The contract to be extended is good to do that. I don't think there's any concern about the quality of the service we get, that's been worked out in a very good relationship. I don't see anything negative with this. And the comments are over, I'd be happy to make a motion that we'll wait for it.
Any other comments on it?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the amendment to, for waste disposal between Gilmer County and Advanced Disposal.
Second.
I'm going to ask to modify your motion just a little bit. I noticed when I looked through this proposed addendum, there was one thing that was left off that we need to add, and that is to remove that CPI adjustment from the contract.
Consumer price index.
Yeah, they have the right every year to do that. And if we're gonna go ahead and build this in for the next
Right.
5 years, we need to get that out, and they're amenable to that.
Yes, yes.
So what I would,
Yes.
I would make a motion, or modify your motion to say that we approve this with the stipulation that item 7 be added to remove the CPI indexing from the contract.
Yes, I'll amend my motion that we approve this contingent upon removing the CPI adjustment.
Okay.
I will remove my second.
Okay. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
This last item, resolution for support of the fire chief to issue a countywide burn ban. I need to preface this by saying that Tony has the authority to issue a countywide burn ban. He doesn't need us to authorize it. He has the authority to do that. And in fact, that has been done. When we originally thought of this, it was a few weeks ago, and it was with the idea that it looked like there was probably gonna have to be a burn ban, and we just wanted to go on record as saying that we supported Tony if he decided to do that. Based on what's happened between then and when we were here to do this, it has become necessary to go ahead and initiate that burn ban. So the only thing this this resolution is doing is, it's not authorizing it because it's not needed. It's just stipulating the commission's support for the ban that has been put in place. Yes, sir.
My name again is Brett Altman. Question, does this include rental properties that have open fire pits, in their side yard?
It does, and in fact, each rental property has been hand-delivered a copy of this and asked to sign a receipt stating that they have it.
Good, because I've experienced in the past where they have rental property, they start a big bonfire and then
Right.
they're drinking alcohol and then they leave.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. And the second question is, what about fireplaces, during this ban?
Fireplaces with a chimney,
Yes.
inside fireplaces with a
Yes.
chimney
Yes.
are allowed.
Are allowed, okay.
Yes, because the chimney is, we're trying to prevent sparks and so forth, and the chimney does that,
Yes, thank you.
so.
You know, the question is going to arise, what about outside fireplaces? Because they're quite popular now, and I think Tony's wording addressed that.
The two big questions that we're getting so far is, one is about like chimenea, the small like clay structure that has a chimney coming out on top of it. And our answer to that has been that it is okay as long as it's in a safe area and it does have some type of spark resting on top of it, because by the letter of what the ban says, it is escaping the heat and sparks through a chimney device, but they have to be sure to arrest the sparks on top of it because it doesn't have a length. The other thing is the outdoor fire pits, like you can buy at Lowe's or Walmart for that matter, that has a screen that goes over it. Those are not acceptable because it does not keep those embers and sparks from flying over there. The other question too that's come up just thinking about it so far has been on cooking with charcoal grills or propane grills. We have still said that charcoal and propane are acceptable as long as the grill is in its original manufactured state, and with the charcoal, that it does keep the cover on to keep those sparks from escaping.
I should mention too, and probably apologize because it is getting a little warm in here. I spoke with DJ Spagnolo this afternoon, who is our maintenance director, and he has turned off all the air conditioning in the building. It'll be off over the weekend, and we'll have to look at it Monday morning, but it may very well be off Monday because of all the smoke that we've got outside, and it's drawing that smoke into the building, and there are health considerations. So we may all have to bring little personal fans with us for the next few days until we get this cleared up.
As far as just to kind of give a small report about the fire situation and the conditions, as everybody knows, the smoke mostly is a result of the large wildfire in here at the Rough Ridge portion of the wilderness. That fire has really took a pretty good run over the last couple of days and substantially increased in size. In less than 24 hours, the fire has grown over 3,000 acres. By tomorrow, it's projected to be close to the 12,000 acre threshold. We're actually going to start sending resources to the Gilmer County portion of it tomorrow to start putting wetline down to prevent that from coming further down, and that's happening in the surrounding county as well. U.S. Forest Service is sending resources in more and more daily. We have some staged at Station 1 here in town now, getting ready to go online in the morning because there really is some concern that if there's not some more aggressive measures taken towards the fire, it could expand outside the wilderness, and that's the scenario none of us want to see. At this point, it is not inside Gilmer County yet, but it is right there at the cusp of it. and we're gonna do everything we can to try and keep it from coming further south into our county. The dryness and the drought conditions, according to the Weather Service, will persist for a while. It's not a far stretch to say that this wildfire here, it could exist all the way through the month of December because of its size and complexity. You know, whenever, even if it was to rain, it's so dry, so deep under the ground, the fires even travel the root system of vegetation and trees and things like that. So it's a very dire situation as far as that. And everybody just really needs to realize while we're doing what we're doing is for, the last thing that we need is wildfires breaking out in populated communities. Because it's so dry right now, it'll be very easy for it to get out of control and start towards homes and things like that very quickly, very easy. So we just ask for everybody's support and to please understand the importance of this because it is very, very volatile, I guess is the best word right now. These are conditions that we have not ever, or it's been a very long time since this area of the country has seen it. So
Thank you, Tom.
Gentlemen, one of the things that we discussed yesterday, I reported to you about the 3 small safety paving projects we were doing. Bushy Head Road, now we've done the other 2, Laurel Ridge and Bear Paw, but the Forest Service people, the firefighters, are using Bushy Head Road quite extensively. And we will probably postpone that project because we would actually be a deterrent to them being able to get manpower and equipment and stuff like that with that paving project. So I hope you understand that, but I'm probably going to advise the road department Monday morning to postpone until we can see better what they've got to deal with.
Tony, are we close to having any state or federal emergency declared beyond what you've done and other counties have done as far as banning outside burns?
There is no emergency declared at this point. The next thing that we'll probably see happen if the conditions do not improve on private property. Now, there's 2 different things. When a fire is on federal property, none of that stuff comes into play because it comes from the federal funding. It's their folks, and they contract with folks like us to help on the outside. But if we start to see an overwhelming number of wildfires on private property, in which is our responsibility and the Georgia Forestry's responsibility, the governor will make an assessment at that point as to whether or not the state's effective firefighting force is exhausted, and he will do what's called issuing an extreme forest fire emergency, which is a statewide ban, basically, of what we've done already, and that would open up the possibility for, funding at that point.
Okay, any further comments?
Tony, are there things individuals can do to protect their own property, or is it Firewise material?
Yes, there is fire. If you go on to the internet and look up Firewise, there are a lot of very, very detailed, and there's a lot of good information on there about how you can protect your property and your personal home from wildfire. That's the one thing that's the most important. Although we will get there and initiate a response to extinguish that fire as quick as possible, the better protection measures you take on your own for your own property is just prolonging, the safety of your home.
Okay, any other comments? If not, I would make a motion that we have a resolution in support of the burn, ban burn.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Before we get to the citizens wishing to speak, there's one comment that I would like to make. We've got a number of the members here of the Keep Gilmer Beautiful Committee, and I would just like to say that these folks have been extremely active. They've picked up trash on roadsides. They've done everything anybody could possibly think of to actually keep Gilmer beautiful. And I couldn't be more proud of you guys. y'all are really doing a great job, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate it.
I agree with that.
Thank you for that comment, Mr. Chairman, and host commissioners. I'd like to thank you allowing us to introduce our advisory board for the Keep Gilmer Beautiful. Joanne Whitey, Betsy Shepard, and Nancy DeBarton. And also absent tonight is Ashley Phillips, but she's our 5th board member. And we did have a chance to hand out the color slides, right? You have those color slides that I'd like to talk to. And we're excited about our accomplishment this year in 2016. As you know, as I reported yesterday, we've had over 20 enthusiastic adoptees. These are road adoptees for picking up litter. And in fact, we've got 6 more agreements in place. So we'll have 26 by the end of the year, so we're proud of that. We've made 10 Keep Gilmer Beautiful presentations to public and civic organizations. We've done some marketing materials that we've handed out to all the audience, and I think you've seen both our flyers and bookmarks. We've had some successful newspaper articles, and we thank Times Courier for that. And we have all of our major highways coming into Gilmer County have posted the Keep Gilmer Beautiful signs to remind tourists and our own citizens, to keep and not litter the highways. We're educating the community about recycling. Jim Smith has had the signs posted at the 3 centers, and we'd like to continue our success in communicating to the social media that we've done, both on our Gilmer County website and in Facebook. And I think we have 85 likes or 99 likes. And if you're on Facebook, we'd like you to post that you like Keep Gilmer Beautiful as well. In 2017, we're planning a Earth Day event at the River the River Park, and we're going to have a one-day pickup of litter throughout the whole community and invite all of our adoptees to come there, pick up the orange bags, and to help clean up Gilmer County in the month of April. In 2017, we set some aggressive goals. We're going to add another 20-plus road adoptees for a total of 47, and we would have actually maintaining and keeping litter off of over 50 miles of Gilmer County roads. We're going to have this organized Earth Day I mentioned. We're going to schedule 15 presentations to civic organizations. We're going to establish a relationship with the Board of Education to help educate the students in middle school and high school who are getting their driver's licenses so that they won't throw out the trash along the road. And we're really trying to bring this awareness level to the community and change behaviors and habits of litter and to continue awareness in our social media. And we believe that all of this is really helping our efforts to create a better looking county and to both our citizens and to tourists, because tourism is such a big part of our economic engine for Gilmer County. We'd like to thank the county for their valuable people and resources, especially Jim Smith and Kathy Shiner, who provide overwhelming support and motivation to help us succeed. So they've really put a lot of time in Keep Gilmer Beautiful and helpful to our board. We'd also like to thank Ed Grant, who is a volunteer for Adopt a Road, and he has actually signed up 5 adoptees, so he's a valuable resource to us. And he's not here tonight; he's out of the state. But I wanted to bring up his name because he's a good man. And Finally, I'd like to make a comment that we have wisely used our first year funding budget that you provided us in 2016. We actually used up that $2,500 in the first 7 months. So we went through that money wisely. And we'd like to ask you for your support, for our budget for next year, 2017, of $6,000. That will help in financing these 20-plus new adoptees and our marketing and Earth Day programs and recycling. So that continues. Anything else from the board? Any other ideas?
Recycle.
We did have our first, I just posted today, we had our youngest adoptee, a little girl about this dog and her parents. So please do like us on Facebook. It makes a big difference. So thank you, Travis.
And you have 100 likes now.
See, we're up to 100, so thank you very much.
Any questions you can answer?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that budget request under your budget?
Yes, sir, it's there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from anybody?
And David Bennett, Mr. Chairman, a number of people I've talked to in Gilmer wear glasses and they're older. If they're driving at night, have problems seeing the roads. So
I can't relate to any of that.
I'm just up here asking folks to consider if you have the monies to look at trying to get some of the roads lined around here so that people can see before they run off the roads.
One of the things there is that we don't actually have the people or equipment to line the roads ourselves. We contract for that. So what we do is we contract generally twice a year for somebody to come out and line a number of roads. And in fact, I was just asking about that yesterday. The next, November, I think you said, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
If you can address that.
Mr. Bennett, you can stay here. We have, in the off-system safety program, if you'll recall, we have 9 roads that we are waiting right now under a state contract to be totally re-signed and restruck. And what the contract has already been awarded. What I have been advised by DOT is that sometime during the month of November, we're supposed to have a pre-construction meeting. And after the pre-construction meeting, then they will give them the authorization to proceed. Now, what my plan was with the amount of money that you have allowed me in the 2016 budget is to add a rider. The company is Peak Construction Company of Columbus, Georgia. Since they will be here anyway, then I'm going to give them my list of roads that they would do the striping on until the money runs out. And so that, Mr. Bennett, that's the plan, and hopefully we'll have that in the month of November. But I'm waiting for that contractor now. So.
And one thing I should mention on there too is I've gotten a number of inquiries about the side striping on Roy Road, and I believe that's included in this, so that would, for the folks that are concerned about Roy Road, that will be taken care of as part of this.
But we do have that is a line item in our budget for doing that with the road department.
Only $10,000, and it's,
For 2016 or 17?
2016.
And
What's the other month? You said November, there's twice a year, you said November, and then...
well, in this particular one, it'll probably, based on what
It's going to be
Tim is saying, would be December of this year. But now we should plan on doing it twice next year then, right?
Yes, usually what you have to, With traffic paint, just like paving, it is temperature sensitive. And so what you have to do is you have to plan it to do it in times when it's not freezing. Because that paint has to have an opportunity, although it's quick drying, it has to have an opportunity to dry before it freezes.
Well, stay better hurry then.
Yeah, I know. I sent an email today, Charlie.
So I think you could reasonably expect late spring would be the next one of these.
What particular road are you
In
using?
any,
None in particular.
Just trying to run it late.
yeah.
It was just
Okay, any other comments from anybody? Do we have a need for the executive session?
I have,
I have.
You were coming?
Oh, yes.
I'm so sorry. I was thinking it was a comment to what y'all were just talking about.
Don't be, come on.
No, that's fine, come on up.
I'm so sorry. Okay. My name is Audrey Malahivi, and I'm a small business owner here in town. I own Farmers Keepers here too. What I am coming to ask you tonight is to help the small businesses that are not down on the square, that are specifically Maddox Road that goes beside the McDonald's. We have no exposure at all to tourists and people that also live here, the locals. They're still coming in. It's been 2.5 years, and I still have customers come in and say, I never knew you were over here. I have done everything from newspaper to door-to-door advertising, everything you can imagine, I've done it. The one thing that has significantly made my numbers change was putting the road signs down along 515 coming up either way. Now, I know that we have the ordinances, so we can't leave signs out like that, 7 days a week. But I was thinking that possibly, you know how on the other roads where there's a stop and they have all the different advertisements of different businesses. If we could have one there at Maddox and 515 to help direct traffic down there, because we are all struggling.
what's your address?
9 Russell Drive.
I understand what you're saying. The question I have is, I think that intersection, 515 is a state road, and we have nothing we can do with the state road. And Maddox and Yukon at that intersection, I believe, is within the city limits of East LJ, which effectively knocks the county out of being able to do anything there.
What do we do? Who would I go to then?
You would really need to go to the city council meetings for the city of East LJ.
You'd not be kidding.
No.
I'm at the wrong council meeting.
Yes. Because inside the city limits of LJ or East LJ, we have no authority to do anything at all. It's totally separate.
The reason I was asking, I didn't know if that was East LJ or LJ.
But she's talking about the intersection.
Right there.
There's two councils.
Yeah, there is.
The line is right there at LJ Tire,
Yes.
back towards the four-way stop. That's the line between the
Yep.
two municipalities, so whichever side of that.
Well, when I
Which is
googled
talking about the
the
intersection.
East LJ council meetings, it said second Thursday, 6 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, wow.
I think it's the second Tuesday.
I think
The
that's
second Tuesday, 6 o'clock here? No,
it would be
No,
at City
East
Hall.
LJ City
it
Hall.
would be at their city hall.
Yes. Do you know where that is?
Up the hill from the Conoco over there.
Well, shoot, maybe I should move over to the other side of LJ.
I sympathize with your problem, but we can't do anything there.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you though.
Yes, ma'am?
Are you guys member of the chamber?
No, I did that one year, that just wasn't.
There's exposure through your website? Okay.
So you had a comment?
I'm her husband, Patrick.
Yes, sir.
She's pretty much covered everything. It was just about clarity of the signage. And that's all the else is what it was. So there's no answers to be had here. But I wanted to make a comment about fire. I didn't recognize Tony because he was sitting behind me when he came up. We called one day, someone was talking about rental property fire. We called one day and we looked on the first one. And we cornered on one. And we called about an open road in San next door. And they are renters. We get rented, but, you know, we own, they don't. They move, we don't. And they typically don't have the same, if you do a broad brush, they typically don't have the same conscious about where they're living, especially in certain way. So we met, he was burning, the wind was blowing, everything's completely dry. And we called, my wife called, and Tony showed up, and his sincerity, and his professionalism, his attention to detail, his heart was with it. You know, he's talking about, you know, I didn't hear what he said, you know, right at night, you know. There's a lot of people that don't understand. I used to work for a black fire. And fire is very unpredictable. It'll take your house, it'll take your life, it'll take everything you have. And we can be vigilant and police each other. You know, watch out, especially for people that either don't know any better or don't care. Neither one of those is bad. You know? And so we called right away and Tony shut down. Down to be straightened out. We haven't had any problems since then. And we have no qualms about calling anybody in this tenant-box situation.
Right.
Because your house could go, your house could go, your house could go. And if we can do something to prevent property loss or loss of life, we're going to do that as best as our ability. So I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate your service. It's not an easy job, you know, especially, you guys are working 26 hours a day, you know, so. Anyway, as far as the signs go, I guess it was.
I do have one other thing about the
Yes, ma'am.
signs. Does East LJ and the city of LJ have the same sign ordinances?
Honestly, I don't know.
They are different.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I need to talk about it. Thank you.
Her voice
Sorry
sounds
to
even better
interrupt.
amplified.
I'm sorry.
Her voice sounds even better.
Oh.
That
Thank
just
you.
makes your step.
Thank you. Anybody else with any comments? Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.